What's going on, everybody? It's Nice Pants Lance. I'm here with the Triumph Rocket 3, and today we are going to balance the throttle bodies on this motorcycle. So, because it's got 3 cylinders, it is a very smooth motorcycle. Might not be as smooth as an inline 4 or like a Goldwing, which has a 6-cylinder, but it is definitely more smooth than a parallel twin, a V-twin, or any 2-cylinder motorcycle out there. So I just got back from taking a long ride, and I kind of noticed that the Rocket is feeling a little bit more chuggy and lopey than I remember. It's kind of sounding like blah 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 blah. The inline triple is supposed to be running a little bit smoother than that. The combination of the mods I've done to this bike, the exhaust, the intake, the tune, the amount of miles that I've ridden on this, over time, throttle bodies can come out of sync. So what we're going to do today is we're going to measure the balance between all 3 of the cylinders, and we're going to adjust it so hopefully it's going to be running way smoother. The tools you'll need for this job are a 8mm socket with an extension. You're also going to need a long 5mm Allen wrench, preferably a T-handle. In this case, I'm using a 5mm bit on an extension. You'll need a long Phillips head screwdriver or long Phillips head bit of some kind to adjust the throttle bodies. And for the TuneEcu software, you need a Lone Lec cable or a Bluetooth, depending on what model you got and what you want to do. But in addition to that, you need the appropriate phone with TuneEcu software on it. In this case, I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, and it's got I actually have a registered version of TuneEcu. There are 2 adjustment screws attached to the throttle bodies on this motorcycle, and in order to have access to those 2 screws, we're going to need to lift the gas tank up. But before we can do that, first we need to remove this bear claw. Without removing the bear claw, you won't be able to lift the gas tank up. So in order to remove the bear claw, you're going to need a 8mm socket on an extension. There's 2 bolts that are holding this bear claw up onto the bike, and one of them is down in the corner here. You can kind of see it right there. So I'm gonna see if I can just feel my way around there. See if I can do it blind. There we go. There we go. Let's get our socket wrench on there. All right. And I highly recommend not smacking your bike with your socket wrench while you're loosening up these bolts. Alright, there's 1 bolt. Now the second bolt is in the front. This one's a lot easier to see. It's right there. It's kind of dark, but it's a lot easier to access this bolt if you turn the handlebars to the right, away from it. Let's see, okay. So I'm gonna put down the camera so I don't completely destroy my bear claw. All right, there you have it. All right, once you've got the bear claw removed, you want to straighten the handlebars back out, and you want to use a 5mm Allen to remove this bolt right here. Now, I'm using a 5mm like Allen bit tool on an extension, on a socket extension. I would not recommend using a regular old Allen kit for this. At least get yourself some T-handles like this. You want some like T-handles or something long that can reach down in there without scratching your gauge pods or your tank. In my case, I am missing the 5mm out of my T-handle set because, well, I'm just that good. See, it's a lot easier, and you don't have to bang up your gauges. You know. So much for not banging up my stuff. That's all right. She's not pretty. She gets the job done. Oh, I totally forgot. Before you can lift the tank up, you have to take the seat off. So if you've never taken your seat off, here's how you do it. You get your key, and you come over to the exhaust side of the bike, find your little keyhole in the side panel, turn it, and with a little nudge, the seat comes right off. There we go. So as you can see, the hinge for the entire tank is right there. So you need the seat off. And then after that, the whole gas tank lifts up. Be very careful. There's not much clearance between that little tab and your gauges. So on the right side, there's a hood prop. I call it a hood prop. A tank prop. And the small metal end goes in the hole that you just pulled that bolt out of. Make sure that it's in there good. And then the other end, that's got like the plastic key shape, goes in the little slot. Voila! The tank has now been lifted. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Lance, how come my Rocket 3 doesn't look like this with the tank lifted? How come there are filters here? Well, a bone stock Rocket 3 has a lot of plastic intake piping that runs from the throttle bodies up over, and then it goes down here. It's attached. There's like a thin piece, and then it funnels down into this air box, which for me has nothing in it now. That is kind of like a storage box. So if your Rocket 3 still has all the stock intake plumbing on there, you're going to want to remove all that first. Now I do have a video where I removed everything. I de-restricted the Rocket 3, so I took all the intake plumbing out, removed the filter from under the seat, and I used 3 K&N filters directly on the throttle bodies to increase the performance of my motorcycle with the addition of a remap. So because I have everything removed, we're going to be able to access the throttle body adjustment screws much easier. So if you haven't removed everything, then you got a little bit of work to do. But before you remove anything, just a little dive into the measuring of the throttle body balance is we're going to be looking at the vacuum, the relationship between the vacuum on all three of these cylinders. So there's a lot of things that can cause your throttle bodies to be out of balance, and one of the big factors is air leaks. So before you do anything, once you get to this stage where you're looking at all your intake plumbing, you're looking at the throttle bodies, you want to do an inspection. You want to make sure that you don't have any throttle body leaks. You want to make sure you don't have any vacuum leaks somewhere. You want to make sure all the plastic intake plumbing on here, everything is tight, everything is sealed up, all the gaskets are in place, nothing is dry rotted or cracked. You want to make sure all the clamps are clamped, because if something is leaking in here, if there's an air leak in your intake system, then that could actually be throwing off the balance between your throttle bodies, and it would not be good if you decided to rebalance them when you're getting vacuum leaks all over the place. So if for some reason you had balanced it with vacuum leaks, or at least tried to, the second that you attempt to fix that, as soon as you fix it, now your bike is going to be way out of balance because you have tuned it to a leaky setup. So yeah, you want to remove that variable completely by inspecting and making sure that there are no air leaks. I think you guys remember. I got all the intake plumbing over here. Ow, shoot. Here's some of the intake pieces that you may be seeing. If you're doing this job on a stock Rocket 3, you're probably looking at all this. Here's the, Jesus. Here's the piece that goes directly on the throttle bodies there. So you just want to inspect everything to make sure that you don't have any leaks, because if your Rocket 3 is running like crap and you think that you need to balance your throttle bodies, you might just have a vacuum leak instead. All right, now comes the actual tuning part of the ordeal. And you want to make sure you're doing this on a bike that is warmed up. So I pretty much just went on a 20+ minute ride. So this bike is warmed up all the way. If not, then start it up and let it idle till it gets up to temperature. But now you're going to need TuneEcu on a Android or whatever device works. You're going to want to, oh, by the way, we got Kickstand Ty joining us with the CVO Softail convertible. But yeah, take your lone let cable, in my case, find your OBD2 next to your fuse box, plug it into your phone, there we go. All right, we're all plugged in. Press whatever buttons you got to press to get that working. All right, now, of course, you want to have enough gas in your gas tank, so you don't want to be on empty, because you're going to need to idle the bike while you do this. But first, we're going to connect. So once it's on, go to ECU, connect. This is, you have to select the correct kind of ECU. In my case, it's a Cayenne, I think. Cayenne? I think that's how you say it. Okay, it says ECU is not responding, check cable connection. That's That's wonderful. So we're just gonna turn ignition off and then turn it on again. Did that fix it? Oh, okay, we're getting something. It's going yellow. And it's green. Look at that. So we got on this page, we've got throttle position, temperature, all that stuff. So when you swipe over here, you have cylinder 1, 2, and 3, and that is your vacuum reading for each one. So this part's going to be a little loud. If it gets too loud, I'll probably have to do a dub over or something like that. But yeah, now is when we're going to fire it up. Switch back and forth. The ones that actually switch back and forth are in between. So if you see one flashing between 620 and 630, that means it's at 625. Okay. So these ones are going back and forth between 620 and 610. So they're like 615, yeah. So this one's like, you said they gotta be within 10, right? Yeah, they should be within 10. And this one's like, yeah, that one's like 640, 630, so like 635. So it should be only one screw adjust for you though, right? Because these two are pretty in sync. It's just the one that's way high. Yeah, that's what it appears to be. Yeah, that's definitely the way it's looking for sure. This one is going between 630 and 620, so that's like 625. So these are actually about 10 off themselves. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I'm going to say, these two are kind of going, this one's going between 610 and 620. I've seen this one drop down to 610 and then go up to like 630. So. Okay, so I think you're right. You're right. This first, there's two screws, and one screw is way back here, down here. You can see this one pretty plainly. We'll try counterclockwise. A little bit. This one came up a little bit. These two are still pretty much the same. call it because it's within 10, and I think 10 is what manufacturer spec is. So yeah, that's really what you want. We didn't have to adjust the second screw because cylinder 2 and 3 were within 10 of each other already. So really we weren't too out of balance, but cylinder 1 was like way out, or at least like maybe double of what they recommend. So turning that first screw, we'll tune cylinder 1 to cylinder 2, and then the second screw on the right hand side will tune cylinder 3 to cylinder 2. So yeah, actually already it sounds more consistent.
Oh, way more consistent.
Sounds more consistent. So yeah, after that you're pretty much good. You can disconnect your phone, disconnect to an ECU, unplug everything, and then just follow all the steps in reverse. You know, put your seat back on, drop the tank, put your bear claw back on.
Put your tank holder back in your special tank holder spots.
Yeah. You think you could figure that one out?
Well, maybe not. I'm a Harley guy. I'm not a Triumph guy. I don't know how these things work.
Maybe it's this way. Maybe? Or is it, I see. Okay. Fancy dancy little setup there. Drop your tank and be careful not to let the tab scrape up your gauge pods, and then just reinstall everything. That's pretty much it. Just reinstall everything. You're good to go. So if you like that video, give me a like. If this helped you out and you were able to balance your throttle bodies, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.